If the rear wiper has suddenly stopped working on your Kia Sportage, it could be due to a number of reasons which I will go through in this video. Turn on the rear wiper using the stalk on the steering column. If the wiper does not move, listen carefully for any sound. A faint motor noise could mean the wiper arm is loose or the linkage is disconnected. Next, inspect the wiper arm. Try gently moving it by hand. If it wiggles or feels loose, the nut holding it might be stripped or loose. Pop off the plastic cap and tighten the nut using a ratchet. If the arm is tight but still not working, it could be an electrical issue. Let's check the fuse first. Open the interior fuse box located under the dashboard behind a panel on the driver's side. Flip the cover and you will find a diagram that lists the function of all the fuses in the fuse box. The third fuse in the second last column is the fuse for the rear wiper motor, and it's a 15 amp fuse. That will be this fuse in the fuse box. Once you have located the rear wiper fuse, it's time to test it using a simple tool, a test light. Turn the ignition to the on position so power is flowing through the fuse box. Now connect the alligator clip of your test light to a good metal ground, like an unpainted bolt. Then touch the tip of the test light to both sides of the fuse. If the light comes on for both sides, the fuse is good and power is flowing through it. If it only lights up on one side, the fuse is blown and needs to be replaced. If you do not have a test light, you will have to pull out the fuse to give it a visual inspection. Pull out the fuse using a fuse puller or needle nose pliers and hold it against a light. If the metal strip inside is broken, replace it with a fuse of the same amperage rating. If the fuse is good and the rear wiper is still not working, the rear wiper motor may be faulty or there is an issue with the wiring. For further diagnosis, we will have to physically access the rear wiper motor, which is hidden behind this liftgate interior trim. Fully open the liftgate and pry off the upper trim. Remove the screw on the side trim, then carefully remove the trim. Remove the trim on the other side of the liftgate as well. There is a plastic retainer clip at the lower edge of the liftgate. If you cannot get it out using a Phillips head screwdriver, use a pin or a needle to raise the center screw and then remove the clip. Next, remove the pull handle on the liftgate. There is a plastic tab on top of the handle. Just slide in a trim removal tool or a flathead screwdriver and the handle will pop out. There are 4 screws holding the interior panel in place. Remove all of them. Then carefully pull out the panel. You can now access the wiper motor. There is an electrical connector attached to the back of the motor assembly that has 3 color-coded wires. Black is ground, red is power when the wiper is turned on, and white is for parking when the wiper returns to its original resting position after you turn off the switch. This wire is always hot. We are going to test the voltage on these wires with a multimeter. First, turn on the ignition or start the engine. Set your multimeter to DC volts. Then back probe the black wire on the connector with the black probe. Next, touch the white wire with red probe. You should see around 12 volts on the multimeter. It means the parking wire or connection is good. Now turn on the rear wiper switch and touch the red wire with the red probe. You should see around 12 volts on the red wire as well. If the voltage is present but the wiper motor does not move, the motor is likely faulty and needs to be replaced. If you see 0 voltage, it means there is a break somewhere in the wire or the switch is faulty. Let me show you how you can replace the wiper motor. Before you can replace the motor, you will have to remove the wiper arm. Stick a piece of tape on the rear window where the tip of the wiper blade rests. This will help you align the wiper arm correctly when reinstalling it. Next, locate the small cap at the base of the wiper arm. Carefully pull it outward to reveal the retaining nut underneath. Use a 12mm socket to loosen and remove the nut. Now pull the wiper arm off the shaft. If it is difficult to remove, then you may have to use a wiper arm puller tool like this one. Position it at the base of the arm and slowly tighten it to lift the arm off the shaft. Once the wiper arm is off, you can proceed to remove the wiper motor. Disconnect the electrical connector. Press down on the release tab and unplug the connector. Next, use a 10mm socket to loosen the bolts that hold the motor to the liftgate. These bolts are built into the motor assembly, so you do not have to remove them completely. Just loosen them until the motor can be pulled free. Carefully remove the motor from the liftgate. Here is a close-up of the motor assembly. This is the part number. Before installing the replacement motor, apply a small amount of silicone grease inside the rubber grommet. Position the new motor on the liftgate, aligning it with the bolt holes. Tighten the bolts with a ratchet, being careful not to over-tighten and risk damaging the mounting points. If you have a torque wrench, tighten the bolts to the correct specification, 6.9 to 10.8 Newton meters or 5.1 to 8 pound-feet. Reconnect the electrical connector to the new motor. Before putting the trim panel back on, it's a good idea to reinstall the rear wiper arm and test the motor to make sure it works properly. Slide the wiper arm onto the motor shaft. Line it up with your tape mark and secure it with the retaining nut. Use a torque wrench to tighten the nut to 8.8 to 10.8 Newton meters or 6.5 to 8 pound-feet. Once the arm is installed, turn on the ignition and activate the rear wiper. Watch for smooth movement with no odd sounds or hesitation, and check that it returns to the correct resting position. If everything looks good, go ahead and reinstall the interior trim panel. Line it up with the clips on the liftgate and press it in firmly until all clips snap into place. Make sure the panel is sitting flush and securely attached. Reinstall the 4 screws you removed earlier. Insert the pull handle cap back into place. It should click in easily. Reinstall the plastic retainer clip. Reattach the side trim pieces and secure them with their screws. Reinstall the upper trim panel. Finally, close the liftgate and you are done. I hope this video is helpful in diagnosing your rear wiper issues. Please give it a like and consider subscribing to Weezgiant for more DIY troubleshooting videos. Thanks for watching.